Hi and welcome back to another hiking guide, another hiking walkthrough, this time from Snowdonia National Park. I'm going to be reviewing and guiding you through a hike that I did last September in 2019, which is this one right here. It's a full day hike across the Carneddau Mountain Range in the Ogwen Valley. If you've not been to this area of Snowdonia before and you're looking to avoid the crowds and all the tourists that usually associate themselves with the main Snowdon area, this has to be a hike for you. It's quiet, the views are stunning, there's some great hiking, some beginner scrambling, and you'll have an absolutely fantastic day out. If you haven't seen this video, I'm going to leave a link just at the top of the page where you can go either before or after this one and see what it was all about. So, you'll need a few things before you plan this trip. One of those is either a map, which is this one here. It's the OL17 OS map plus a compass, or you can choose to use the OS Maps app for either Apple or Android phone, both of which I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can have a look at either purchasing one or both of them. So this is one of my favourite hikes to do in Snowdonia. There's great parking, it's relatively tourist free on that side of the Ogwen Valley, and the views and the solitude are absolutely incredible. So if you're after that sort of thing, this is definitely for you. So that being said, I'm going to switch over to the main screen and talk you through this hike. Okay, so the hike starts at the laybys where you can park for free at the bottom of Trafan near the campsite, and all you do is you're going to head towards Llyn Ogwen. You're then going to start to handrail. If you look right, you're going to be able to see a river that's flowing down from the top of the mountains. Now there's a lake up there, and that's where you're going to be headed first. So you're going to be hiking up that path. It's going to handrail the river, and it's pretty easy underfoot. It's a slow, steady incline, but a beginner hiker shouldn't have any problems in hiking that path. So when we get to the top, you're then going to ascend a steep path up towards the summit of Penny Orolwen, and the footage will show here what it's like. So points to note on this is that it's quite steep, but it's perfectly manageable, and it's a great opportunity to get your hands on the rock in parts. So parts of it are scrambly, but you know the views you're going to experience over the Ogwen Valley are going to be second to none, especially looking over towards Trafan. You're then going to hike up the path which handrails again the cliff edge all the way up towards the summit of Penny Orolwen. Again, it's easy underfoot, and a beginner hiker shouldn't have any problems in hiking this path. So there we go, we're going all the way up towards the summit of Penny Orolwen, and once we start to reach the top, we'll notice that it's a pretty bleak summit. Now, I would say stop for a drink here, but there's a much better place. So there's not much shelter on top of this summit. So at this point, what I would do is head on from the pile of stones, which is called the summit of Penny Orolwen, and we just head out over the open ground, and we're going to head towards our next summit. It's pretty flat, plateaued sort of ground. It's easy underfoot, and we're heading out towards Carneddau. The views will start to open up, as you can see there from the footage on this map. You're going to get some fantastic views in good weather. On this day it was slightly cloudy, but it did open up a little bit later on, as you'll see. It's a slow, steady incline, but relatively easy and perfectly fine underfoot to Carneddau, where you'll find when you get to that summit, it's going to be a much better place for you to take a rest. So you'll find when you get there a bit of shelter in the form of a 3-walled square, and you'll be able to sit in there. You'll be able to, have a rest. You'll be able to take on some food, make yourself a hot drink or a cold drink if it's sunny. And it's also a good opportunity to check the map, so you can check where you've come from, and you can also check where you're going to head to next. So after you've had a bit of a rest there, it's a good opportunity then to get the bag back on the back and start heading off across the sort of ridge line with the steep drop off to the left hand side. Some fantastic views to be had here, and what we're doing is we're heading towards the ridge line, as you can see in the distance there. When we get there, it's then going to start to drop down slightly. So as it starts to drop down, it's going to put us directly on that ridge line, and the views are going to be spectacular in great weather, which we sort of experienced here now. The guy I'm hiking with, Russell Hepton, aka the Trail Hunter, he got his drone up. If you're interested in what type of drone that is, it's this drone. It's the DJI Mavic Air. It's a small, compact, lightweight drone, which is perfect for this sort of hiking. So as we've appreciated those views, we've headed on, and we've started then to head up towards Carneddau, which is the highest point that we're going to reach today. It seems like quite a slog up to the top of that, because all we've done so far is hike out onto level ground. But once we've been to that summit, we're then going to start heading towards the southeast, and we're heading down towards a ridge line, which again is where the views will start to open up. As you can see there, you've got fantastic views on your sort of right hand side. You're going to be able to see it all across the Ogwen Valley, towards Trafan, towards the Glidders. You're going to see onto the other side as well, which is where I'm sort of hiking now. You get to play around a little bit on the rock formations if you want, if you've got the time, with some fantastic drop-offs. And you're going to start to see the reservoir down below you, and this is where you start to drop down onto that ridge line. Now again, it looks steep from the video, but it's really not, but the views are fantastic. So you're going to steadily go across that ridge line, again taking in, you know, all the wonder that is being on a quieter side of Snowdonia. And I'm just going to stop at this point here and circle it on the map, because at this point, this is a great point to stop and have another break and really appreciate those views across the Ogwen Valley, down towards the reservoir. Grab yourself a drink, and at this point you can do two things. You can either hike to the right, it's the same distance but it's a path that's relatively level, or you can choose to go the way that I went. It's more of a scrambling route. It's very basic, and it's going to be a good little test for a beginner that wants to get their hands dirty and get their hands onto some rock. Now that heads up towards Carneddau, which is the summit that we're going to be reaching once we've done that little scramble. A few things that maybe you need to be aware of is, whilst it'll look steep on the video, it isn't that steep at all. It's more like just a very, very steep path. Now, a beginner will have no problems with this. I recommend going this route because it's a lovely little tester, and as you can see there, it looks pretty steep, but I'm walking here. I'm not really using my hands. It's only at the beginning that you really get to touch and feel the rock. This is me basically walking, holding the camera. But again, the views really open up, and it really gives you an appreciation of what scrambling's like, and especially if you're not that confident. What you're going to see in a moment is when we get to the top, it then is basically a big long hike all the way down in a southeasterly direction from the summit of Carneddau. So we're hiking down a long, slow descent down your break. On this descent, you're going to see a lot of wildlife. You're going to cross sort of pasture land, moorland type ground underfoot, and you're probably going to see some sheep. You're going to see some wild horses, like I did. And what you're going to do is you're going to continue that journey all the way down, and this is the perfect opportunity really to take in your surroundings. If you're lucky enough to be alone, you can take in the sounds, the smells, the stunning views of all that's around you at this point. It'll take you a little while to hike all the way down, but when you do, what you're going to do is you're going to look for this footbridge. If you're uncomfortable of where to go next, set the compass to southwest, because what you're going to do then is you're going to cross the moorland boggy ground that you can see in front of you there, and you're going to take the path down to the gravel road. However, the path is not clear. So the reason I say to to set that compass to southwest is so that you always know you're on the right track, whether you do wander off the path or not. So as you start to head down towards that gravel road, one thing that will reiterate that you are on the right path, and that is halfway down you will come across a set of steps, or call it a sty, a crossing in the wall. When you come across that, you'll know you're on the right path, and what you're going to do is you just want to keep on following that all the way across the moorland, pasture land. It can get quite boggy at times, down to a gravel road. And when you reach that gravel road, it's a short hike down the gravel road to the main road, which is again where we actually started, but further on at the A5. Now at this point you've got a couple of options. You can either choose to hike all the way down the road, which is obviously going to be on tarmac or concrete surface, really easy underfoot, or there is an alternative route which you can hike from here back towards Llynogwyn in the car. And what that does, if you cross the road as opposed to walking down it, the alternative route sort of runs alongside, parallel to the road. Now if you've got the time, it's definitely worth doing, or if you just want to get back, just hot foot it down the road. Again, this is a fantastic opportunity to see all the Ogwen Valley has to offer as you look down towards Shafan, as you look down towards Yagan, and you look down towards Llynogwyn, and you really start to appreciate the grandness of this side of Snowdonia. So there we have it, an epic one-day hike covering 3 or 4 of the major summits in the Carneddau Mountain Range. I'll leave a link in the description below for the exact route that I took on the OS Maps app so that you can follow along. If you found this guide useful, hit the like button and share it with your hiking friends. For more content like this, make sure you hit subscribe so that I can keep you updated on all hiking guides, walkthroughs, overnight wild camps, tips, tricks and other things that's going to make planning your adventures way more easier. So on that note, if you missed the link at the beginning to watch the full episode of the Carneddau Mountain hike, I'll link it at the end of the video so you've got another chance to watch it there. All that's left to say is have a good afternoon and good luck in planning your next outdoors adventure.